What's up, guys? This is Young Bruce back again with another video, and today we're going to take a look at the LG K7. So the LG K7 is being sold at T-Mobile and Metro PCS right now. I picked mine up at Metro PCS for $49. Normal price $129, so that's a pretty good deal. So it has 4 stars, and let's read some of the specs. 4G LTE enabled. It has a 5-inch FWVGA display with 2.5D Art Glass Edge, and I'll show you guys what that is soon. Has a 5-megapixel rear-facing autofocus camera with LED flash, and it also has a 5-megapixel front-facing camera. It has 1.5 gigabytes of RAM and 8 gigabytes of memory, but you can also expand the memory with the SD card. So that's pretty nice. Or a micro SD card, I should say. I'm sorry. As far as processing speed goes, it has 1.1 gigahertz of quad core processing. So that's pretty nice. So it can handle most games. It might not be able to handle the most graphic intense game, but for the most part, it should be able to handle, you know, a majority of games on the Google Play Store. So that's pretty nice. All right, so let's get into the build of the phone. So when I first saw this phone, I thought it was a flagship that I didn't know about. That's how beautiful this phone looks. It's just, something about it is just very sleek and attractive. Just the entire screen is black because it has software buttons, so no buttons on it. So that just looks very, very clean. You just have a screen almost. And the bezel is almost non-existent because the edges are slightly curved. Not like the Galaxy S7 Edge, but they're slightly curved to meet the bezel in the back. So I don't know if you guys can tell. Let me try to focus some more. They're slightly curved if you pay attention closely. Right where my thumb is on the left there, you can kind of tell that it's curved a bit. So yeah, that makes a really, really nice look as it connects the front to the back very, 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 very nicely. There's no buttons at the side, as you see. All of the buttons are on the back. This is an LG phone, of course. Not all LG phones have their buttons on the back, but nowadays, most newer LG phones have all of their buttons on the back. So you have your volume down, volume up, and your power button, your 5-megapixel camera, and your LED flash, some LG branding right here, and you also have your rear-facing speaker. And I wouldn't say the back is the most ideal location for a speaker, because what happens is, let's say you're listening to music or watching a video, when you put your phone down flat, that speaker is covered now. So you get muffled audio or a worse sound quality. Now, the simple fix to that would just be getting a Bluetooth speaker or something like that, or using headphones, or just standing up your phone somehow. So I guess that's not a big problem for everybody, but that's just how I look at it. At the bottom, you have your regular micro USB port, no USB-C, so this phone isn't future-proof, but that's okay. You have your headphone jack, and a lot of phones nowadays are starting to remove the headphone jack. Everybody's waiting to see if this new iPhone is removing their headphone jack, so that's pretty interesting to me. So I'm glad the headphone jack is here to stay, but that's just my opinion. You have a microphone at the bottom, and then you have a microphone at the top. So that's it for the build quality. Now, you can take off the back. And when you take off the back, you have a removable battery, and you also have your slot for your SIM card and your micro SD port. Or micro SD card, I'm sorry. So the great thing about a removable battery is that if you buy another one of these, you can have that one fully charged up. Let's say when you go out with your friends, and you won't even need a portable battery charger. Whenever this one dies, just pop off the back, pop this one off, and then you could just pop your fully charged one in and go 0 to 100 real quick. So that's pretty nice. And then, like I said, you could just put your micro SD card in here. I wish phones nowadays still did this, but like they're starting to stop removable batteries for some reason. But yeah, so that's it for the build. All right, so let's get into the phone itself and the software. So in terms of software, you get Android Lollipop with LG skin built over it. And it's a pretty clean interface. I can't complain. It's not that heavy. A lot of people hate it when companies add their own type of themings to this Android, the Android OSs and the Android versions. But it doesn't really bother me too much because a lot of the time you get some pretty cool features. So yeah, so you have your normal notification screen here. Your quick toggles are up here. Um, Flashlight, and of course you can access more if you go to edit. You also have a weird, what was it? It's like an inversion mode, screen color inversion, and basically that would make all of the colors on your screen turn their opposite. So this white will be black, something like that. It was pretty weird. I don't know. I don't really see the use for it, but it was just something silly that they added. So I thought that was pretty cool. But yeah, it's a pretty clean interface. Let's go into the app drawer. And this is Lollipop, so it doesn't have the new Marshmallow app drawer yet. But this app drawer is still perfectly fine. Of course, you can add your widgets too. And then all of these icons are LG's icons. Now, if I'm not mistaken, if you go to LG Smart World, I think is this app. Let's see. No. Okay, I think I have to update this to use it, so let's not worry about that now. But I think if you go on that app, you can actually theme your phone. You can download themes. So I feel like if you don't like this stock launcher, the stock icons, it's always cool that the phone itself will have the ability for you to just download a different theme, but you're not changing like the entire launcher itself. You're just changing the icons. So I think that's pretty nice. Like the Galaxies do that, and I really appreciate that. Now, the other argument is if you really don't like the launcher itself, you can also go to the Google Play Store and download, launchers like Nova Launcher, the Yahoo Launcher. I think Google has their launcher too. So yeah, that's always an option. Let's look at the camera. All right, so this is the front-facing camera. Let me record. This is the front-facing camera. It's a pretty nice quality. I can't complain, really. I like it. It's not too bad to me, actually. So I'm glad that they chose to put, a 5-megapixel camera on the front, because that's one way they like to downplay a lot of these flagship or low-end flagships nowadays. They try to, they might make the phones like fast, they might make it look nice, but they try to make the camera, they don't try to make it bad, but that's where they cut somewhere, because they have to make cuts somewhere to make these phones so cheap. So they will make the camera quality not as high as it could be, basically. So I'm glad that LG, kept it or made it 5 megapixels. That's a pretty nice thing. You have your normal apps, a bunch of bloatware. This is all bloatware, Metro PCS bloatware. I'm pretty sure if you have it on T-Mobile, you'll get the T-Mobile bloatware too. But hey, you have to deal with it. So unless you root your phone and download something that will let you remove apps, you're stuck with them. And that's kind of unfair to me, because phones like this with 8 gigabytes of memory just built in, let's say you don't have an SD card, a lot of your memory is already getting ate up just by the software that's already installed on the phone and these apps that are already installed on the phone. So that's not fair to me, but that's another argument for another day, I guess. But yeah, overall, this is an amazing phone. I really like it. Very, 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 very smooth. No hiccups. Now, a lot of people said they did have hiccups on theirs, but I think that's when the phone probably first came out, and there's been so many software updates, over time it gets really, really smooth. So I think that fixed it. Oh yeah, now also let me show off the back facing camera. I didn't want to do that because there's nothing behind me that's very interesting. So I'm like, okay, let's not do it. But here's how the back looks. The back isn't the best. It's 5 megapixels also. So yeah. Now this is a pretty nice screen, but the thing is, it is not HD. It's not quad HD. It's not even HD. The resolution is 480 by 854, and you're probably falling out of your chair saying, oh my gosh, that's terrible. But just look at it. honestly, just look at this screen right now. Could you tell? This is a very beautiful screen. When I first looked at the screen, you would think it's full HD, especially on a 5-inch phone. Low resolution screens like that wouldn't really cut it. But for some reason, this phone's screen just looks very nice to me. Now, of course, if you're looking close, you could pinpoint all of the pixels and all things of that nature. But honestly, how close are you going to be to your phone? You know, you'll probably have it about this far away from you most of the time when you pull it out your pocket and look at it. You'll never actually have your eyes, glued onto the screen. So that's perfectly fine to me. Of course, it could have more pixels, but like I said before, companies have to make cuts somewhere to make these phones so cheap. So that's 196 pixels per inch. That's the pixel density. So that's not the best, but like I said, they have to make cuts. So just remember that. If you want a phone that is great in every aspect, then you could, of course, pay for the $700 or $800 phones. But if you don't, and you don't mind some of these minor drawbacks, and these are very, 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 very minor drawbacks, then you could just buy a phone like this. So yeah, that's about it. So if you're looking for a new phone, if you're a Metro PCS customer, T-Mobile customer, you don't have a lot of money in your pocket. Let's say your phone just broke, your phone just cracked, you just dropped it, destroyed it, something, and you need a new phone, but you don't want to spend $700, $800 on a flagship, but you still want a pretty nice phone that looks sleek, looks nice, and performs well. The LG K7 is the way to go. And oh yeah, I forgot to talk about battery life. Battery life on this phone is pretty good. Let me check how many milliamps the battery actually is. If I'm not mistaken, it's 2,150. But I just want to check for you guys. I don't want you guys to quote me. Okay, it's 2,125 milliamps. So that's not too bad, especially for a phone like this. But I don't know. It could be a little bit better because my Galaxy S6 is the exact same. It's actually 0.1 inches bigger than this phone. So ever so slightly bigger. And I have a 2,550 milliamp battery in there. And that phone doesn't have really good battery life. Of course, it's gotten better over time with all of these updates and optimization. And of course, Android Marshmallow helped a lot with the Doze functionalities. But I don't think that's enough for a phone like that. But for this phone, the battery isn't too bad though. I think the software is just really optimized, so it keeps the battery, running as efficiently as possible. So you will get, I say, 4 or 5 hours of screen on time. Don't quote me, but yeah. So yeah, this is Young Bruce, and I'm out.